What's up YouTube, it's your boy Nash here, welcome back to the channel, and in today's WWE news video, we got a doozy, because in this video I'm going to be talking about the injury status on Sasha Banks after what happened last Friday on SmackDown, Kofi Kingston teasing a possible feud, a possible rivalry with Roman Reigns and the Universal Championship, NXT Takeover taking place inside the Thunderdome, and also a former women's champion making her comeback to WWE. So let's actually talk about Kofi Kingston's possible feud with Roman Reigns. So big shout outs to Andy Murray from What Culture for the article. It's kind of funny because the last time these two were in the ring together, they obviously Reigns was with the Shield, Kingston was with the New Day, and it was at Survivor Series. It was literally at Survivor Series just a few years ago, and I don't think we ever got that one-on-one match. So let's actually talk about. So let's actually hang on. Oh, never mind. For a second, I thought my phone was ringing. All right. So let's talk about that for a second. Kofi Kingston recently spoke to ABC 6 on a number of topics, including WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns' recent heel turn and alignment with Paul Heyman, hinting at a feud with the big dog once he has returned to WWE. Kofi said, quote, "He was a guy who had all the tools. He's in movies. He's the big dog and the top dog in the yard. Why do you need this parasite Paul Heyman? Why do you need him to further yourself?" Kingston added that Reigns was already there, meaning at the top of the card. Without his new advisor, I'm going to talk to him when I get there and try to figure out what's going on, because why Paul Heyman? I don't understand it. He didn't need to go down that route. Kofi is currently off TV after reportedly suffering an undisclosed injury in late July. It was reported at the time that he would miss approximately 6 weeks as part of his recovery, so his SmackDown return could be imminent. Kingston's stablemate Big E has been the subject of a renewed singles push with the New Day temporarily shelved, so it'd be interesting to see Kofi, not E, placed in a Universal title program. Okay, so let's talk about that for a second, because if you guys remember the last time we saw Big E get that big push, it was obviously when he had challenged for the Intercontinental title, and it was against Curtis Axel, and guess who was in his corner? You guessed it, Paul Heyman. So one thing that I'm trying to figure is, I get the fact that judging by this article, it says Kofi is just is saying that he wants to be their first friend, which again they've teamed up in the past, but they've also been rivals as camera moved. They've also been rivals as well. So it would make sense for Kofi to be in the match, to be in that picture. But given the fact that Big E is the one that's getting that renewed singles push, it would make a lot more sense for Big E to get that title instead of Kofi, because the last time Kofi was world champion, he held the title for 6 months, and then Brock Lesnar came in and took the title. It wouldn't make sense for history to repeat itself. And I think, honestly, again, by having Big E in that match and not Kofi, Big E could definitely be that main event player that everybody wants him to be, because already Kofi Kingston, Kofi is on that level. He's already on that level, whether he's injured or not. There's no denying that at all. So it makes sense for Big E to follow in Kofi's footsteps, in my personal opinion. But you know what? Question of the day. I was gonna do this do this later. I usually do this at at the end of my videos. But question of the day: do you guys think it's wise? Do you think you know what? Let me rephrase that. Who do you think should face Roman Reigns for the Universal title? Is it Kofi or Big E? Let me know in the comments below. Because I think it's Big E. In my honest opinion, I think it's Big E because, obviously Kofi's been out with an injury for quite a while now, and it would make sense for it would make sense. Okay, it would make sense. It would make sense for Big E to get that title picture, to get that title match, and not Kofi. Alright, you guys, Melina coming back to WWE. Is it possible? Well, maybe. If I can find that article, because I know it's here. Here it is. It is a possibility, but it's not. It's possible, but not likely. So shouts to Andrew Pollard, I believe was his name. Okay, like seriously? I swear this laptop is giving me issues. Yep, shoutouts to Andrew Pollard for this article. It appears that WWE is soon to add a former champion to its roster. According to PW Insider, WWE has reportedly come to an agreement for Melina to return to the company. Not just that, but Melina is due to return to WWE TV within the next week. At this stage, it is yet to be revealed whether Melina will be turning up on Raw or SmackDown, but all signs point to an imminent WWE return for the 3-time Women's Champion and 2-time Divas Champion. So, it does. While that may be the case, obviously WWE will say that she's a 5-time Women's Champion. So, seriously? So it would not have mattered. Having first signed with WWE back in 2004, Melina's initial stint with Vince McMahon's sports entertainment juggernaut came to a halt in August 2011. While Melina has appeared for several independent promotions since then, most recently she's been seen as part of Billy Corgan's National Wrestling Alliance, the NWA. Wow. The last time Melina was seen in a WWE ring was as part of the Raw reunion show back in July of 2019. Interestingly, WWE actually reached out to have Melina partake in the Women's 2020 Royal Rumble match, but her NWA deal prevented that from being possible. If this PW Insider report does indeed prove to be true, we should be seeing Melina back in WWE programming ASAP. Okay, so one of the things that boggles the mind the most is the fact that Melina, don't get me wrong, Melina is one of the one of the best female wrestlers that we had in that time. And there's no denying that whatsoever. But one of the biggest downsides to this is the fact that there's an article here from What Culture, if I can hunt it down. No, I don't want gauntlet matches. No. There's an article here that actually states that she's denying all, Okay, seriously? No. Give me my fucking... Okay, seriously? I fucking hate this laptop. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love What Culture, but they need to stop fucking with me. Come on. Thank you. Thank you, finally. It took long enough. Anyway, there's an article here. I believe it is also from Andrew Pollard. Where are you? Oh, from Gareth Morgan. There's an article here that apparently Melina is denying all the reports. And let me take a look at what the article says. Hang on. Let's see here. She actually writes, in her post, she said, "I am not signed with the WWE, but that doesn't mean it's not a possibility. My reason for this post is that it bothers me that these sites lie to fans. If I potentially get signed, don't forgive them for lying to you. I know there are those that aren't a fan of mine, but I still will care about them as I do my own fans. I don't like when people lie to you and or bring you. Okay, hang on a second. I swear these fucking ads are pieces of shit. Thank you. And or bring your hopes up. You deserve better than that. You should demand better than that. They think it's okay to pull these stunts because you still follow or click that link. You should follow sites that don't treat you like you're stupid and do not lie to you. It seems like a lot of wrestling news sites do that though. So one of the things that I do, if you guys don't know anything about this channel, if you guys are new to the channel, yes, it is true that I do use What Culture and Wrestle Talk, but I mainly focus on things that are potentially true. That's what I focus on. And this was one of the big things that I needed to talk about, because there were a lot of people that were big fans of Melina because of the things that she's done in her career. One of the big things one of her biggest accomplishments was obviously being a part of the faction known as M&M, Mercury Nitro Melina, and once that faction completely disbanded, once Johnny Nitro became John Morrison, and once Joey Mercury was off the grid, Melina went at it on her own. She became a 3-time women's champion. She became a 2-time Divas champion, and she went down in history as one of the greatest one of the greatest female superstars that WWE had to offer. And again, I only focus on articles that I believe to be true, or rather articles that are potentially true. And this right here is potentially true. We could see Melina back in WWE. But if I were to guess, I would have her on SmackDown as a babyface, because there's already enough babyfaces and heels on Raw, but on SmackDown there's more heels than babyfaces, because when you think of heels, you think of Sasha, you think of Bayley, you think of Lacey Evans, I think Tamina as well, and also Dana Brooke. And when you think of the babyfaces, you think of Nikki Cross, Alexa Bliss, Carmella, just to name a few. There are more heels on SmackDown than there are babyfaces, and I think having Melina on SmackDown as a babyface could really elevate the women's division to heights never seen before. And I think, again, and obviously she did say that she isn't signed, but obviously knowing Melina, she would never disappoint her fans. She would never disappoint her fans. And I could definitely see her in WWE at some point, but you never know. But with WWE, you never know what can happen. Alright, you guys, with that being said, now I'm gonna be talking about NXT Takeover taking place inside the WWE Thunderdome. This ought to be interesting. Hang on a second. My phone went off. There we go. So if I can find that article. And you know what? I'm going to do a second question of the day. Do you guys want to see Melina back in WWE? Let me know in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys what you guys have to say about that, because I am very curious. And where the hell are you? And it appears that I cannot find that article. Here it is. Here it is. So shoutouts to Andrew Pollard for this article. NXT Takeover to take place inside the Thunderdome, with a big fat question mark. In some interesting news, it looks as if there are some changes afoot for all things NXT. Firstly, the ever charming Pete Dunne appears to have taken on a new role with the NXT UK brand, as picked up by Alex McCarthy at TalkSport. Dunne is now working as a producer for the NXT UK product. Yeah, so if you guys don't, there was a video that WWE had posted on their official YouTube page. It was basically the rebirth, if you will, the return, if you will, of NXT UK. And if you guys saw that video, you will know that Pete Dunne has now taken up the role of producer. But to my knowledge, apparently it's going to be until he is able to go back to NXT, because obviously you guys know he's now a part of the NXT roster in Orlando. So this ought to be interesting. While Dunne has long since flown the NXT UK roots to become a prominent part of the main NXT brand, current restrictions have meant that the former NXT UK champion has been unable to travel to the US. As such, it's great to see Pete Dunne having a hands-on role with NXT UK. Elsewhere, WrestlingHeadlines.com is reporting that there are ongoing talks of bringing the Thunderdome to NXT. With Raw, SmackDown, and pay-per-views emanating from Orlando's Amway Center until the end of October, there are discussions of having October 4th's NXT TakeOver take place at the Amway Center, which would thus put the NXT brand in the wild realms of the Thunderdome. If this NXT TakeOver event does indeed take place from the Amway Center, then it is, of course, to be assumed that the Thunderdome concept will for sure be in play. So one of the things that I want to mention is the fact that Raw, SmackDown, 205 Live, and the pay-per-views have all emanated from the Thunderdome. I'm talking SummerSlam and Payback. And now we're going to have Clash of Champions. One of the things that I also want to mention is that WrestleMania, both nights, Money in the Bank, Backlash, and the horror show at Extreme Rules all emanated from the Performance Center in Orlando, it's all because of this fucking pandemic bullshit that we got going on. That Raw, SmackDown, 205 Live, and the pay-per-views had to emanate from the Performance Center in Orlando for the latter part of damn near 6 months. Since March, April, May, June, July, August. So for literally damn near 5 months. Sorry, for damn near 5. I would say about 6 months. And then NXT, the first 2 episodes of NXT featured, I think, Tom Phillips and also Triple H just talking about the product itself. You know, how well it's, evolved from a reality show to now one of the hottest brands in WWE today. Not only that, but 205 Live again had to emanate from the Performance Center as well. And NXT UK, once that Battle Royal was over, if you guys did not watch NXT UK that featured that Battle Royal, you will know that Ilya Dragunov won that Battle Royal, and from that point up until last week, no new episodes of NXT UK, no new in-ring action, nothing. All it was all they were doing was just showing matches from the past, whether it involved WrestleMania, whether it was from NXT UK, it did not matter. They showed matches from the past, which ended up hyping up last week's episode of NXT UK. So for NXT, and then of course NXT had all their shows have emanated from Full Sail, which has been an awesome partner with WWE in Orlando as well. And what's interesting is that if NXT Takeover does take place inside Thunderdome, that just means that they will no longer have the trainees and the superstars from said brand showing up to the shows. Instead, they'll go by the official Thunderdome rules, where the WWE universe can watch Takeover virtually from a laptop, or whatever device they use. So I think that would probably be the best thing for them, but you never know. You never know what can happen. But honestly, I would love to see that. I think it would be a great experience. And plus, with Rhea Ripley potentially challenging for the NXT Women's title, we could see Pyro for Rhea Ripley, which we did see that on Raw back in I think it was back in February, or something like that. We could see it. It is a possibility. Alright, you guys, now for the update on Sasha Banks. So if you guys remember last Friday, Sasha Banks was at the Performance Center being interviewed by Michael Cole, and unfortunately Sasha Banks had gotten attacked by Bayley once again. So shoutouts to Liam Winner from WrestleTalk for this article. WWE has issued an update on Sasha Banks after she was attacked by Bayley once again during last Friday's episode of SmackDown. Banks was sitting in the Performance Center cutting a toe camera promo, as they call it, when she was ambushed from behind by the SmackDown Women's Champion. WWE took to Twitter and said this quote: Sasha Banks was shaken up in the attack by Bayley. No further injuries were sustained, so that's actually really good. That is really good. This came 2 weeks after Bayley snapped and turned on Sasha Banks following another loss to the Women's Tag Team Champions, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Bayley defends her title against Nikki Cross at Clash of Champions this Sunday, actually. So it remains to be seen when we'll get the eventual match between the former tag team partners. So, first of all, I know that nobody in WWE will watch my videos, but Sasha, if you are watching this, I hope I think I speak for myself and for all of your fans when we wish you a very speedy recovery. But one thing I will say though is that Bayley has gone way too far, and I'm going to be talking about that in Thursday's video. In fact, hang on a second. Yeah, okay, so I will be talking about it in Thursday's video, because the rest of the card that's empty is all from Raw. So obviously we're still missing Bobby Lashley's opponent for Clash of Champions. We're still missing the Street Profits challengers, which we will be finding out tonight on Raw. And then of course we are also missing Asuka's challenger as well for Sunday at Clash of Champions. So Thursday's video, I will be doing a prediction video and giving you guys an in-depth my take on those matches and whatnot, including the one between Cross and Bayley. But I think again Bayley's gone too far, and I think when Sasha Banks returns and she's at 100%, I have no doubt in my mind Sasha will target Bayley, and if Bayley were to retain her title, hands down, Sasha's going after it. But guys, that is going to do it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Make sure you guys answer both questions of the day down in the comments below. And that will do it for this video. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, smash the thumbs up button. If you guys are new to this channel and you guys love seeing these news videos for WWE and for YuGiOh, definitely hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you guys don't miss out on any new content that comes your way. And be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. All three of my links, both of my Twitters and my one Instagram, the links are down in the description below. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.